The biggest consensus trade in the market is to short bond yields. 62% of institutional investors expect bond yields to fall, pushing bond prices higher. Just 6 months ago, only 10% of institutional investors held the same view. Now, to put this into perspective, even in 2008 and 2020, we barely saw 40% of institutional investors to expect bond yields to fall, and now we are at 62%. All as markets are pricing in double the amount of rate cuts compared to Fed guidance. Fed pivot is an understatement. Speaking of this, if this is not a glitch, something huge may have just blown up. As yesterday, plenty of you guys may have seen that there was a quote-unquote glitch in T-bills spiking 72 basis points above 6%. Are we starting 2024 with a money market crisis? And do you guys think this is a glitch? Let me know in the comments down below. Boss Blunts touches on the subject, saying mutual funds may be in for a shocking surprise tomorrow. The system is about to break just like September 2019 RRP implosion, except this time the Fed can't bail out the system. Now, speaking of glitches, I want to touch on AMC failure to deliver data that came out for the first half of December. And before we get into this, guys, all I ask you to do in return is to please hit the like button on the video. It is free. I'm going to cover everything that there is to cover, so you guys don't have to watch another update here on YouTube. We're going to touch on AMC, GameStop, the charts, the data, then some additional stuff with banks, the overall market, Tesla, crypto, and that should be it. So without further ado, if you find value out of the video or enjoy watching, subscribe to the channel. We're going for 100K subscribers this year. Let's get into it. So AMC FTD data came out for the first half of December, and I find it very odd. First, we had that other glitch that we brought up at the beginning of the video, but now let's touch on the glitch, quote-unquote glitch that is happening with AMC. Recently, we know that they hid numbers for October from us for AMC, and then they came out with a bunch of what we think fake numbers, and now they are doing something very similar, but they're not really speaking on it. This time the data is not late, it's just some days aren't even here. You have December 1st, 5th, 6th, 8th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 2 of these are weekends. However, you're missing several days. Days the market actually traded that you're missing is December 4th. Okay, so you're missing December 4th, then you have 5th, 6th, and you're missing December 7th. Another day AMC traded, then you have the 8th, you're missing the 11th, and then you have the 13th and the 14th. So you're missing several days. And how I exactly know, just to confirm this, lottery stocks were they holidays? No. GameStop, you have December 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. So AMC is missing about 3 to 4 days of FTD data out of absolutely nowhere. Moving on, 184,692 shares of GameStop were just picked up in pre-market today before the market opened. So another whale purchasing in on GameStop. We saw the same thing happening last week, purchasing large amounts of GameStop shares. And we also know the options chain is bet far out for AMC and GameStop for January 19th expiration, assuming they make it to high prices. Now, one other touch on AMC before we get into the charts, and then after the charts, we have something else we have to touch on. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, is opening Thursday in China, and we know that has brought large revenues for AMC, and China is the most populated spot that this could possibly go to. I don't know how this is going to work over there. I don't know any sort of deep dive into this, but solid for AMC. AMC trading at $6.20, up 1.31% on the day, getting exactly what we said. Scale up, got this little retracement, and now we are getting a slight pop. However, it's not to the degree as to what we've been previously tracking, right? The hit the low, the scale higher, drop off, and then slightly scale higher. Now, there is a little bit more time to reach this same level, which if this was to the same degree, we'd come up to about $7.35, $7.38, which is where I'm watching over the next week for AMC to come up to about a 23% gain from its low, and I believe about a 15% gain from where we're trading at right now. And then after that, you would see another retrace and then a launch higher, another retrace, and then the final spring higher if this correlates, right? As of right now, it's tracking perfectly, just a lesser degree. GameStop, of course, still looking beautiful. Stair-stepped higher, making higher highs, higher lows. Broke this aggressive trend line, just like the S&P 500, Tesla, and plenty of other plays. Coming down for a potential hold on $17. However, it is holding right around $17.15. Came back up, got rejected on this trend line right around $17.50. And now GameStop is just getting choppy. If you look on the daily, we want volume to pick up so that we can break this double top. This kind of looks like what Bitcoin was trying to do, and Bitcoin finally broke out, which we're going to touch on later on in the video. But GameStop, ugly double top at $18.15. We need to see what is going to happen right here. I don't want to see GameStop break under $16.80. AMC Ortex numbers, 8.28% short interest, which we know is much greater, but looking at Ortex is the only thing that we have to look at for somewhat accurate data. We can see where the trend is moving. 4.5 million shares available to borrow against AMC, with 9,000 calls expiring in the money this week compared to 11,000 puts. And then you have almost 50,000 people betting bullish, this premium handed to market makers, and then an extra 20,000 expecting a bearish move on AMC. Again, we are watching January 19th for volatility on AMC and GameStop because the option chain is extremely large. Short exempts 171,000. We didn't get any more reports because today is the first trading day of the week. GameStop 400,000 shares available to borrow. Calls 8,000 expiring in the money compared to 1,000 puts, and more people betting bullish on the option chain. So GameStop is essentially just set up a lot better as of right now than AMC. Again, huge expiration for January 19th. Finally, on December 29th, 2023, DTCC's Fixed Income Clearing Corporation, FICC, reported $70.16 billion in Treasury settlement fails. As noted by Dr. Suzanne, this is more than a 40% increase year over year. Ironically, despite $70 billion in Treasury settlement fails through this subsidiary of the DTCC, FICC's primary goal is to, in quotes, ensure that government securities and mortgage-backed securities are settled efficiently and systematically. So, per the DTCC, in quotes, settlement of a trade is the point at which a seller is required to deliver the securities agreed in the trade, and the buyer has to deliver the funds to pay for the securities. As a means of penalizing these fails, according to the FICC, in quotes, collects interest at an annual rate of 3% on the settlement value of the trade minus the target Fed rate in effect the day before the settlement day. Probably nothing. Now, before we get into the overall market and some additional stuff, guys, it's a brand new year. Open a new broker using my link or Moomoo. You're going to get up to 15 free stocks and 5.1% APY on your uninvested cash. So whenever you're not making a trade, you're earning those percentage gains on your cash. Once you sign up, make it a positive, even a penny from your bank account, you're going to start earning free stocks. Then the more you put in, the more stocks you get. And Moomoo also gives you level 2 order book data for free, so you can see where whales are loading up and dropping off shares. You would have seen that GameStop order this morning. And then it also gives you access to trading options, going long, going short, and more. So go to that, guys. The link is at the top of the description and pinned in the top of comments. And if you want to, join the Discord. We're getting new members. Today was a little quiet. The year just started. Everyone's traveling back for the holidays. I get it. I completely understand. This is the place to go for the new year. It's a coffee a month. Level yourself up, level your trading journey up. Come talk stocks and crypto with everybody. And we also have options trading alerts in there. Finally, the last plug, make sure to hit that subscribe button and have post notifications on so you guys don't miss it when I upload another video. Now, as many of you know, Korea's stock market banned short selling until June of 2024. And since the ban, their market has pumped over 12% and continues to climb, which means, just to put that into perspective, if we ban short selling over here, you'd see the S&P 500 all the way up to 5,300, or looking at the SPY, $530 within the matter of a couple months. Speaking of the SPY, 472.96, down 0.5% on the day, broke below the support at 472.75, came back up, broke above it, and now we are coming back down to retest that support, hopefully climbing back up to test this trend line once again and don't get a rejection. If we climb back up to this trend line, watch 477.50 for a rejection or a retest to break higher to 480. That is my outlook on the SPY. Tesla, looking beautiful, 248.35, down 0.07% on the day, came down based off of this macro trend line, right around this purple trend line, as well as this ascending support level that Tesla likes to test. However, this wasn't the 10% retracement we got. This was about 7 so far from the relative high, which means if we did get the 10% retracement, 236.80 is still a level we're watching if Tesla doesn't hold this support. And at that point, I will be most likely adding more to my Tesla because I am still extremely bullish for 2024 on Tesla. Now, Tesla had a major catalyst come out today. Their Q4 delivery numbers, total deliveries 484,570, which was a beat at an estimated 483,173. Model X, Y, and the Cybertruck at 22,969. with an estimated only 20,003, which was also a beat. However, the Model 3Y missed 461,538 compared to an estimated 462,523. Overall, I would still take this as a bullish catalyst for Tesla, showing they are at least on track, if not gaining more momentum. Now, the other elephant in the room, Bitcoin broke out above 45,000 today, coming up and testing this fib right around 46, right before 46, right? That is the next level I said we were watching. We broke out of this flag above, and as of right now, it doesn't look like that retracement everyone calling for is coming. But again, who knows? Maybe the ETF approval gets declined over the next week or so, which is something we also have to talk about right now. One thing guaranteed, BlackRock will be buying 10 million worth of Bitcoin tomorrow, so that is another catalyst that we know is coming. And then the ETF approval. Grayscale Trust just filed a Form S3 amendment with the SEC. And finally, to close out the video, BlackRock thinks the SEC will take until the end of the week to approve the spot Bitcoin ETF, which nobody knows if it's going to be tomorrow or the next day or the end of the week or next week, right? Any point it does come out, it, in my opinion, will be bullish for Bitcoin. That is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Let's make some money this year, guys. Get in the Discord, get your free stock, subscribe to the channel. I love you all. Lottery Socks out.